validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. It's good to see you guys showing up on Twitter X. Special shout out to Twitter X and special shout out to those of you that's watching us on Twitch. We are live from YouTube, though, so if you guys have the opportunity to swing on over there to YouTube and like and subscribe and hit that notification button whenever we go live, you'll be notified on whatever it is we got going on for the day, because we're live 7 nights a week around about the same time. We're about an hour late today, hour and 10 minutes late today, but you know, we had some things happen right before the show, and I just had to get through it before I got here so that we could get through it today. Just note that we don't let the sun rise without going live, so we make it a point to go live every night of the week. So as long as I've got the capabilities to do so, you will see this show go live at some point. So it's always good. Even if you want to watch us from Twitch or Twitter, you can hit that follow button, and potentially you'll get notified while you're on. But I know that YouTube does push notifications, so swing around by YouTube and grabbing that. That'll help you guys out. Note that in the comments section, you should see, especially you guys on Twitch and Twitter, you guys should see a link in the comment section. If you ever want to get onto the show in real time and talk about stuff, you guys can click that link, approve the mic, approve the camera. It brings you guys on in real time, and then we can have a verbal discussion instead of a communication through text. I prefer you guys to be over the age of 18 when you do that. because we do have some that are not quite 18 yet that come to the show to learn, because we talk about investing in business and money-making opportunities Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We talk about self-improvement, social improvement, and relationship improvement Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And our members-only show on Sunday, where we talk about everything under the sun with the questions and comments from the fans. Now, today, we're going to be talking about discovering some affordable lifestyle in Hungary, Bulgaria, and Montreal. So we're going to be talking about 3 different countries and what's good about them, to live there, the culture there. This is a show that 75% of the shows is men. It's a male-driven podcast from the male's perspective. So I am going to give you guys, fellas, the recommendations of where men can go to find better ways to go, since men are looking for traditional wives and the traditional wife behavior is not existent in Western culture. I am telling you guys of different countries you can go to find it. I'm also telling everyone, men and women alike, every country in the world that you can go to invest in and find you an affordable place to live that might actually be in some situations cheaper than the American standard of living if you are in America. If you're not in America and it's not the country that you live in, I'm giving you guys advice on different countries that you can go to and invest your money in and become an international investor. In addition to that, if you guys hang out till the end of the show, I'm going to have you 3 more stocks to add to your rotation from yesterday's show when we were talking about moving stocks around for a stock dividend rotation. And I want to make sure, because I was thinking about it since last night. I was like, dang, we've got 3 monthly stocks on our list and 5 quarterly stocks on our list. And ironically, we have 1 or 2 stocks per month on a quarterly. And I thought to myself, well, what if we had, 3 or 4 stocks every month on a quarterly, where we can put half of our investment into monthly dividends and then take the other half of our investment and move it around and hit all of the quarterly stocks. If you're adding to your investment, the plus side is that if some of your money gets stuck into a stock option that declines lower than your satisfaction, instead of you taking a financial loss and selling anyway, you can leave your money there and move the rest of your money somewhere else until such time as the stock rises to your satisfaction. And then you can sell the area of the stock that you like and put that money back into rotation, where you're not necessarily taking a loss. You're just dealing with a financial delay in your financial strategy. So I said, well, let me see if I can find at least 2 or 3 more, because since we've got 5, if I get 3 more, we would have a total of 8, which means that we should, if I pick them correctly, give us about 2 shares per day or 2 stocks per month that are quarterly stocks, where we should be able to invest in our monthlies and invest in our quarterlies and be able to switch from quarterly to quarterly every month, because the quarterlies are only going to happen once every 3 months. So that means that over the course of 3 months, if you're moving your money between 8 or 9 different quarterlies, you will basically be moving into 3 different stocks per month. Now, that's a fantastic move, because we just said that if you utilize the 8 that we found effectively, you could potentially get 168% return. Well, if you're getting 168% return off of 8 stocks, there's a strong possibility that if you can factor in quite a few more stocks, you can either guarantee that 168% return by having more successful stocks to invest in that aren't overlapping other stocks, or you can increase that 168% based on the quantity of stock percentage that's being paid out on a quarterly. So what I did was I found the lower ones that are reasonably in the realm of the ones that we were going to be buying from yesterday that had high dividend payouts. I'm talking about like 30 to 50 cents a share, almost 10 to 15 cents, 10 to 15% of the value of the price of the stock. So if it was like a $30 stock or a $40 stock, you're getting about 35, 40 cents a share or more on that particular quarterly stock. Now, just buying and holding on that particular type of stock might not make you feel good, because it's literally only giving you a little over 10%, 15% if you just bought and hold. But if you buy before the ex-dividend date and set your calendar, couple days before the ex-dividend date, if you haven't already bought it, you're getting a notification to buy it. And the day after the ex-dividend date, if you haven't scheduled it to sell, you're selling it so that you got capital to rotate out for the next ex-dividend date. And by setting that up on your calendar, you've always got something to do. Day traders should have something different to put their money in every day. And if we're going to do this rotation method to a magnitude where we're utilizing enough capital that we have raised to have a stream of capital, even because we were using $1,000 example. But if we had $1,000 in each one of our cash stocks, that would be $3,000. And then if we had 2 or 3 different slots of linear transactions for stock investments, then that would be another $1,000 for each slot. So if we have 8 shares or 8 stocks that we're trading through over the course of 3 months, and that requires us to split our money up 3 ways, where we've got 3,000 on sitting still in the monthly stocks, and then 2,000 more split into $1,000 stacks being traded between multiple stocks. You can find yourself splitting $2,000 in half to catch 2 stocks that have 2 different ex-dividend dates that are close together, and then combining that $2,000 into one stock that's out there by itself. Also, if you have a situation where one stock doesn't clear before the other stock needs to be bought, if you've got $2,000 adversely bouncing around, $1,000 could be getting released while $1,000 is being put up on something else. So I was like, man, this is a fantastic way to enhance what we talked about yesterday. And since that was the case, I said, well, I'm going to talk about that after we talk about these 3 countries that we're going to be getting into today. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Make sure that you guys mash that. Y'all see that up there, mash the reaction buttons and show support for the show. For those of you that are at least on YouTube. And I think you guys have like a like button or something like that on Twitch. And the rest of you guys should have something on Twitter X, but I don't recall seeing that. Either way, you guys can chime in. This is an interactive podcast, so if you throw comments into the comment section that are appropriate, even if you're on Twitch or Twitter, I will respond to you. And if your comment is appropriate, you should see it up on the screen within reason. So, feel free to chime in anywhere during the show. There isn't a thing as a stupid question, just an inappropriate time to ask. So as long as we keep things appropriate, I mean, if you've got a question on this and that, we talk about this, that, and everything in between. So I'll address the question. If I've got knowledge on it, I'll definitely be able to give it to you in real time. If I don't have knowledge on it and I can't come across that knowledge during the podcast, I'll make it the topic of tomorrow's show. And then I'll provide you with a thesis paper on it. So, it really depends on what we're talking about. But let's go ahead and dive into this hypothetical. Imagine this, y'all. You could be living in the heart of Europe, enjoying a high standard of living, investing for real returns, and meeting traditional family-oriented partners, all for less than what most Americans pay in rent alone. See, I told y'all, this is something that y'all want to get into. So let's start with Hungary. The average cost of living here is just $923 per month for a single person, and that's the entire standard of living, not the rent. You can rent 1-bedroom apartment in downtown Budapest for about $442 a month. In America, a lot of places, a 1-bedroom apartment is going for upward of $900 a month or more. Like $1,200 to $1,500 a month in some places. And if you're looking at California, New York, or something like that, Florida, it might be closer to $1,800 to $2,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment. And we're not talking about like a loft, because I know some of y'all are thinking, oh, that's a pretty decent size. No, we're not talking about a loft. What we're talking about is a 1-bedroom, 1 bathroom, if that, small kitchen, little living room, probably 400 to 600 square feet for almost $2,000. That's what we're looking at in America right now. So knowing that $442 a month in Budapest, that is a fantastic observation. Dining out, a delicious lunch averages only $8.64, and a dinner for two is around $42. In America, we can't do shit with $42. I'm just going to be real. Where are you going for $42 besides the gas station in America? Talking about some you having fun. The only fun you got is that the pump is now available because everybody's lined up at the gas station right now. Almost $5 a gallon for gas. So not only is life affordable, but in Hungary, the new guest investor residency program makes it easier than ever to invest in real estate and gain European residency, which is a gateway to enter the entire European market. Now, remember we had a show a couple of weeks ago where we were talking to you guys about getting dual citizenship and getting a second passport and having a residency, if not citizenship, in other countries, so that when things aren't going the way you would prefer them to go in one country, you can just go to another country and receive a lot more financial freedom and sometimes a lot less scrutiny on your capital as well as your lifestyle. With a GDP per capita of over $22,000 and a strong tradition of family values, Hungary is a smart choice for men looking to build both wealth and a meaningful relationship. Now, cultural heritage in Hungary is renowned for its deep-rooted traditions, especially in rural areas. Harvest festivals known as the Zurek Bal bring communities together in celebration, featuring traditional folk costumes, lively dance like the casadas, and communal fests, and the huge feasts. Hungarian wine, especially the world's famous takaja, and fruit brandy, which is palinka, are central to social gatherings and hospitality. Now, you an alcoholic, you can swim around here and get yourself loaded for less. But folk arts, the country boasts a rich tradition of embroidery, Mateo and Kalaska styles are UNESCO and recognized as featured vibrant floral motifs. Folk music, which most of us are listening to rap music these days, and rap music is garbage, but folk music is played on a unique instrument like the kambalum, and pottery from regions like Mesotor are still celebrated at the festivals and the markets. So the lifestyle values of Hungarians are known for being polite, reserved, and deeply family oriented, which is something we don't experience anymore in the United States. And Roman Catholicism is the dominant religion for those who actually want to do that. And family gatherings and national holidays such as St. Stephen's Day, not St. Patrick's Day, are celebrated with pride. Now, the cuisine is hearty with goulash, and I have had goulash. It is phenomenal. As a national favorite, I love it too. And the coffee house, look, I'm drinking coffee on the show. The coffee houses have a culture in Budapest that reflect a cosmopolitan yet tradition-loving society. And this is just one of the three countries. Investment climate in Hungary offers a 10-year resident permit for foreign investors with a minimum investment of about 250,000 euros, making it an attractive gateway to the European market. Now, let's talk about Bulgaria. It is even more affordable, with the average monthly cost of living at just $824 a month, which is about almost $100 less than Hungary. Rental prices in the capital, Sofia, and along the Black Sea, the Black Sea coast, are some of the lowest in Europe. And usually when you get closer to the capital, things start getting more expensive. But over here, it's the cheapest in Europe. You can enjoy a cappuccino for just $2.20 and groceries for a fraction of what you'd pay in the United States. Bulgaria is known for its welcome committees and traditional values, making it a great place to find a partner and establish roots while you invest dollars to go further. If you wasn't social before you leave from over there, you're going to become social. Now, the traditions and festivals in Bulgarian culture is a tapestry of pagan, Christian, and folkloric influences combined. The major holidays like Christmas Eve are celebrated with unique rituals, vegan feasts, and symbolic foods for health as well as luck, and traditions known as koldovins, which is caroling. So getting out there and singing. And the selection of walnuts for future. The Kukrian, which is Mummers Festival, where elaborately costumed dancers are chase away the evil spirits in the shows that you're going to be watching here. And this is a spectacular display of ancient beliefs and community solidarity. Now, be careful while you're out there acting a fool, because you can turn that type of behavior into a witch hunt and be burned at the stake for wilding out. Y'all seen how that boy went to jail for riding that scooter out there in China, came up missing for 2 days. Wife didn't even go look for him. I still feel bad for that man. I don't care what he did wrong in that country. His wife should have went looking for him 6 hours, coming up missing. Bye, love you, hun. Disappeared, ain't been seen for 2 days. If you ain't cheating, you dying. I don't know what you let somebody disappear. Shoot, kind of want you to be a little bit more uptight. But that's too much freedom. Come up missing for 2 days. What if I was being tortured for 2 days? You're not even gonna start looking for me until I'm gone for 2 days? Shoot, if I don't check in by dinner time, you should be concerned. But all the times that I eat, shoot, you got food going away. You like, boy, you better bring your behind home and come eat this before this food get cold. Shoot. But the folklore artists in Bulgaria, their ritual roots have preserved creative traditions like wood carvings, ceramics, weaving, and embroidery. So the village museums in places like Zuharva and Koprivshitisia showcase the crafts, while old towns such as Nezabar and Zolopol are living museums of Bulgarian architecture and culture. Now, the family and religion in Bulgarian society is going to be family-centered, with many customs designed to bring health, luck, and prosperity to the household. The Orthodox Christian faith shapes many holidays and daily practices there. So you're going to be kind of experiencing somewhat of an American holiday tradition there, but the community gatherings, folk dances, and music are integrals to social life. Now, the investment potential in Bulgaria allows you for affordable property markets and growing tourism sectors, making it a promising destination for investors seeking both lifestyle and profit. You can live where you put your money. And finally, Montenegro offers a unique blend of natural beauty and financial opportunity, slightly higher than Bulgaria, because the average cost of living there is about $982 a month, and the downtown apartments rent for about $521 a month, which means they have not started with gentrification yet. Because typically here in America, the further away from downtown you get, the cheaper property becomes. Here, the further away from downtown you get, the more expensive the property becomes. Now, note, still slightly more expensive than Hungary and Bulgaria. A dinner out is just $9.52, and utilities are lower than much of Western Europe. Now, Montenegro is actively seeking foreign investments, especially in tourism and real estate. Most countries around the world are working on tourism, real estate, going green, renewable energy, and AI technology, if not precious metals and precious minerals. So you're going to find that it's common, but they're going to be done in different ways in each country. The mortgage interest rates are just 5.8% in Montreal, and the country's strategic partnership with Hungary is opening even more doors for business and personal growth. Plus, the traditional culture and relaxed lifestyle make it an ideal place to settle down and start a family. Now, since you know that these countries are next to one another, they're doing business with each other. If you find that Hungary is cheaper than the other two countries, you can live in the cheapest country and do business in the other two countries. And since we're willing to travel 5 hours from Tampa to Miami, you shouldn't have a problem with traveling 5 hours between three countries to make some money in Hungary. Now, the festivals and celebrations, like the Kotor Carnival, rooted in Vietnam heritage. This is a transformation of the coastal town into a spectacular of music, parades, and elaborate masks every February and August. So twice a year they turn it up. Bolka nights light up the bay of Kotar with illuminated boats and fireworks celebrating maritime traditions. The music and rituals there, like klappa, singing, and soulful, a cappella performance about love and sea, echoes through coastal towns. Now, the Slava, a family patron saint celebration, is recognized by the UNESCO and is a cornerstone of Montenegrin identity, marked by the huge feast. So there's going to be a lot of food and heartfelt hospitality. So you're going to feel welcome. You're not going to be ambushed by like 12 Karens. The cuisine and community in Montenegro, like the food that reflects Italy, Turkish, and Balkan influences, with seafood, grilled meats, and pastries taking center stage at the festivals. All foods that are at the top of my to-do list. Now, family and communities are central, and guests are warmly welcomed into local traditions. Investments in lifestyle in Montenegro's government encourages foreign investment, particularly in those real estate and tourism sectors. So the relaxed pace of life, stunning landscapes, and strong sense of tradition make it ideal for those seeking both profit and close-knit, value-driven communities. So if you guys were looking for a place where your dollar stretches further, where you can invest with confidence, and where traditional values are still alive and well, Hungary, Bulgaria, and Montenegro are your top picks for Europe, at least right now here in March of 2025. Now, I told you guys, stick with me, and man of my word. So I really appreciate y'all right the wave with me. Special shout out to those of y'all that's staring at us over on Twitch and Twitter. For you guys that are still hanging in there, if y'all was watching the show yesterday, y'all should have all of the 8 cash dividend stocks that we were moving around yesterday, where you can make 168% return on your investment if you follow the dividend rotation method that I explained to you guys yesterday. If you did not see it, it should still be on the platform on Twitter X, and it should also be on the platform on YouTube. Now, the difference between Twitter X, Twitch, and YouTube is that YouTube has the comment section in real time. So if you replay yesterday's show on YouTube, you'll be able to see all of the stocks that you were supposed to pick up, so you can write them down and go get them. It's going to give you the ex-dividend dates, the purchase price, the dividend payout, and when to buy and sell it, and which months that they're going to be accessible, so that you can start off your dividend rotation strategy. But to enhance the dividend rotation strategy, I decided to grab 3 more of the best quarterly stocks that you can invest in that is equal to or cheaper than some of the stocks that we were talking about before. The difference between them is that because those are quarterly, you got some that are far cheaper than the ones that I'm picking today, because we got some that are under $10, but now we've got some that are under $50, and they have 50, 75, $1.75 returns for a quarterly, which is still turning out to be about 25 or 50 cents a month for the quarter. But instead of us hitting it and leaving it there and only getting the one distribution every month, we determined that we were going to keep our money moving like a hotel hop, like bar hopping, like car hopping. We was going to be stock hopping with the dividend rotation plan. And by doing so, we should be able to see if the shares line up that we buy before the ex-dividend date, sell after the ex-dividend date, and the money clears before we can purchase for the next dividend date, where we do not miss any of the stocks we want to pay for. So once we give us a decent strategy that allows us to move our money, divide our money, and invest in all of the ones that we want to invest in, and skip over the ones that we don't want to invest in, we could potentially turn a substantial quantity of profit on our portfolio, where you could potentially be making $80,000 of profit off of $80,000 of capital. You could build up to $80,000 of capital in a very short period of time. You could end up with a very good standard of living where your money is making money for you, and all you really have to do every day is move your money around with less than $100,000 if you're doing this right. And you can build yourself up to $100,000 in a short number of years if you're doing this right, or if you're investing large enough quantities of money. Note, I'm not incentivizing you to give me a dime. I'm just letting you know that if you was to do your research and look up the stuff that I told you yesterday and add these ideas to it today, that you will find yourself coming to understand that you should have thought about this a long time ago. And if you got some money, you need to go ahead and throw it down on some of those stocks and stuff that I was talking about on the show. Now, some of the first ex-dividend dates is tomorrow, so you're not going to be able to get that one, but the one that's ready for the 16th, which is 2 days from now, you can go get that one. So there are opportunities where you can dive in, but the list tells you the ex-dividend date of all of the upcoming shares for the remainder of May, going into June, and part of July. I'm about to tell you guys about the 3 that I just found today right before the show, which is another reason why I got here late, so that I can find you 3 new ones that we have never talked about before that are also reasonably priced with a high dividend yield that will offset and not conflict with some of the other quarterly stocks that you have being released on a quarterly basis. So let's go ahead and get into these real quick. And it's a short list because there's just 3. Sunrise Realty Trust, ticker SUN. Hold on. See, as soon as I start getting into the stocks, he has a price dividend share of $10.16, where it's a quarterly payout of $1.30 with the annual dividend of $1.20 divided across 4 months. Now, if they're giving you 30 cents a share with the ex-dividend date being March 31st, that will partner with your ex-dividend date for Orchid Island, Capital, and ANGC. But that's not going to stop you from finding your way through the investment market to get all of the other stocks. Because like I said, if we're doing the dividend rotation strategy and we're going to just invest some money into our monthlies, leave those there, and then take a different stack of cash and put towards our our quarterlies, then we could find ourselves in a situation where we don't even have to sell our monthlies. We can just move our quarterlies around. So even though Orchid Island and ANGC are done on the 30th or around the 30th, we also know that if we're moving a different stack of cash around, we could potentially put that stack of cash on a quarterly, because you're only going to buy it right before the ex-dividend date. So since the ex-dividend date would have been on the 31st or the 30th, which is around the end of the month, and if it's done on a quarterly basis and the last one was done on March, April, May, and June means that the next one should happen around the 30th, between the 29th and the 30th or 31st of June, which is still going to interfere with Orchid Island and ANGC. But if you're buying and holding Orchid Island and ANGC, moving this one is not going to be a thing, because that's a different stack of cash. When you have enough money in your portfolio, you're not caring if you're diversifying and moving money in different areas while allowing other money to sit still. When you start moving money around proactively, because leaving it there would give you about 15% on average, but you'd be making 15%, which is way better than a bank. But if you're moving it around where you're able to get 168%, or even with recognized gaps in flow or losses of dividends based on share investments, you could find yourself in a position where you will be able to put yourself in a position to buy different stock option. You're going to buy more stock options. That's the best way to put it. So if you got enough money to go around, because if you don't have enough money to go around, you'll barely be able to buy what you're buying. But notice that one is a quarterly for $10 a share with $30 payout quarterly, which is a 10 cents per month on average payout, which is almost 10%. Now, fact is, if you buy in on that $10, get the 30 cents a share. So if you had 100 shares or $100 worth of shares, you would get $3 off of that one. That's not a lot of money, but when we were talking about investing $1,000 on a stock, that would be 100 shares, which means that would be more to the magnitude of like $30, right? So $30 for 100 shares is a lot more effective for us than 30 cents. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about picking up some of these quarterlies. And because you're just going to buy it, you're going to hold it for a few days, and then you're going to sell it. Now, the next one is BHP Group Limited. The price per share here is $50.30, where the dividends per share is going to be about 50 cents a share. And they have an ex-dividend date of March 7th, which means that they should be wrapping things up around June 7th, which is a few days before the June 12th International Seaway. So if you were to buy into this stock on like June 5th and then sell it on June 8th, it should clear by the 10th, where you could still buy International Seaway on the 11th and be in possession of International Seaway on the 12th, so that you can qualify for the 50 cents a share for this one and the $1.72 a share for International Seaway. That's why I wanted to find these extra stocks, because while the first stock, Sunrise Realty, might interfere with your shift, BPH Group Limited, there's nothing there because this is happening in June. On the 5th of July, Global Net Lease, GNL, Global Net Lease, is doing X dividends on the 5th, but that's on July and it's once a quarter. So if we've got one on the 7th of June and the one on the 5th of July, they're not interfering with each other, which gives you the ability to maximize your capital. Now, yeah, this one's $50.30 a share, giving you 50 cents a share of dividend distribution, which means that you're only going to have 2 shares per $100, and you're going to get $1 for $100 worth of investments. But that also means you're going to get $10 off of $1,000 worth of investments. But if that's the only share that you're holding off of $1,000 worth of investments, it doesn't matter if you're getting $10 on that one. If you're going to sell it, and then in a couple of days, you're going to be buying another one that's going to get you $45 on that same $1,000. And then you're going to move it to another one that's going to give you $38. You're going to move it to another one that's going to give you $72. You just started moving your money around, where in 30 days, $1,000 earned you by pointing and clicking on your cell phone using fintech. You would be able to earn yourself $250, $300, $75, $400 off of your $1,000, moving it around. If you have enough shares to move it to, you have enough stocks to move it to, and those stocks don't inflict with your regular strategy. Now, since we've got, and I got to give it to the rest of you guys. Did I put? No, I didn't. Did I put that up there? Yes, I did. All right. So I'm looking on the comment section over on Twitch side to make sure that you guys got it. Twitch and Twitter. And then the third one is UGI Corporation, ticker UGI. The price pay here is going to be $34.53 a share, and it's going to be giving you a 38-cent quarterly dividend payout. The last ex-dividend date that is expected to be seen is June 16th, which ironically, if you buy BPH Group Limited on the 5th, sell it on the 8th, buy International Seaway on the 11th, sell it on the 13th, it should clear by the 15th, which means you can buy the UGI Corporation on the 16th, have it in your possession for the 16th, where you can then sell it on the 17th and be back into your rotation. Now, understandably, UGI Corporation is on the same ex-dividend date as AG Mortgage Company, but AG Mortgage Company is a quarterly. So if you look at the quarterly date, if it's not on June 16th, this June 16th and that one's May 16th are not conflictual, which means that when it's doing August 16th, this one will be doing September 16th. It's not conflictual, which means that you can rotate out through all three of these new dividends added into your portfolio, where you would be able to find yourself with a more financially improved investment opportunity. And I really thought that that was fantastic for me to get you guys into, because I know that, you know, the older we get, fellas, we getting too old to be out here with the bull jive over here trying to figure out how we gonna pay for stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody's like, oh yeah, I got a good job and you're gonna go to work. But do you really want to get up every day for the rest of your life at like 78, 84 years old, going to work for somebody that's 20% of your age? Because the older you get, the younger your boss gets. You're being told what to do by somebody's old enough to be your youngest child, and you have 2 or 3 kids that are grown already. And this person is talking down to you like you're inferior just because this is their first time tasting authority. Or do you want to make your money make money for you, where you could be sitting on the couch watching a game, moving stock options around during a commercial break, sitting there watching WrestleMania, moving money around, making money on a stock option during a commercial break, sitting there because you're not interested in John Cena and his heel turn. You're over here moving money around trying to make stock options while John Cena is complaining on a microphone. There's all kinds of scenarios where you could be sitting over here enjoying Mai Tais on a private yacht that you own because it's got better internet reception for you to be making money on the boat instead of being in a hot, congested environment with people you don't like, getting complained to by customers you don't like, being talked down to by bosses you don't like, when you could be making $2,500 a year off of $1,000 worth of cash, which totals $3,500. So it's not like you're going to put in 1,000 and only get back 2,000. You put in 1,000, you get back 1,000, and you get you another $2,500. Why not do that? Because if you do that on a broader scale, you put up 10 grand and you get back 2,600, where you're ultimately sitting at 3,600 right now. That makes more sense. If every 10 grand gave you 30 grand back, you'd be putting up 10 grand on a regular basis, right or wrong. So if we knew of a way where we could just move our money around and make our money make money for us so that we wouldn't be financially struggling, why not do that? That's way easier than swinging. That's way easier than the white collar crime. That's way easier than the credit card scams, the gift card scams, the self-checkout scams, the snatch and grab scams, the California walkout without paying for the grocery scams, all of that stuff that you got to do that puts a warrant out for your arrest and gets you in trouble just to live, when you could be sitting here taking the money that you would have been spending at the nightclub and investing it in stocks, bonds, and other options where you can make money for you from the comfort of your own home. And then because you're making so much money, you can quit your job and live off of the interest. Because if you can put away enough money to be rotating around $80,000, then guess what kind of profit you have if you're getting 168% return. If you're getting 168% return and you're putting up $80,000, then you're getting back more than $80,000 in addition to your $80,000 principal, which means that you're looking at about 160 grand. So if you follow this method and you do it correctly, where you're not frivolously selling, knowing that you'll be taking a financial loss. If you were buying into the stocks, holding the ones that are down, selling the ones that are up, getting the ex-dividend dates, continuously adding to the pot, rotating the money around, in addition to that on a regular basis, you could find yourself in a position where your money is making enough money for you where you don't got to work, because you're working on making money by day trading. And you didn't got to take my word for it. You can just see the results of the scenario, because I just picked up the one that's supposed to be due for the 16th, because it was a couple dollars higher in payout than the one that was due on the 15th. And I wasn't sure it was going to clear before the 15th. But not only did it clear, it also picked up the stock. So I just got notification today that the stock for the 16th is already in my possession. So all I got to do now is just drop that stock on the 17th and move on to the next one. And now that we got 3 more that's added into the rotation, instead of me having 5 quarterly stocks to rotate out of, now I've got 8 quarterly stocks to rotate out of. And I'll be able to pick up the best ones possible. And then we'll be able to reevaluate this, because since it's a quarterly rotation, every month we're going to be moving the money around. And that means that by the end of 3 months, we should see the difference of our efforts. We should be able to see benefits that we're satisfied with. And that's one of the things that I wanted to do for you guys, because for those of us that's trying to make money for us, whether you're doing it so that you can have a better standard of living, take care of your family, or if you just want to be in a position where you don't have to owe nobody no more, or if you want to be that person where you're making enough money to if you wanted to make enough money to impress that special someone or whatever. I don't recommend that, but some people do it anyway. You be making enough money to do it, because since the standard right now is that men have to make $100,000 a year, bro, if you can take your leftover money and turn that into a second paycheck of 50 to 60,000 a year, 20, 30,000 a year in a couple of years time, Your monthly paycheck from your job plus the profits from your stock portfolio could give you enough money to work part-time and still have 70, 80,000 a year lifestyle, and not require to have 70 or 80,000 a year in the bank to make that happen. Because in order for you to have $150,000 at 15%, you need $1 million in the bank. But if you can get 165% interest on your rotation and you want to have a $150,000 lifestyle, you really only need $100,000. But if you're trying to live a $60,000 a year lifestyle and you're getting 160% or 168% return on your investment, which is like 268% total, if you're talking about your principal plus your gain, all you need is 60 grand to bring back 75, which you can live off the 75 and reinvest the difference. And the principal is still there untouched. I told y'all for the last 5 months that the lifestyle of the rich is living off of the interest of their investments, not the principal. So when you can change your life and your decision making to start living off of the interest, and that lifestyle is 30% of the income coming in, that's when you made it. Doesn't matter if you got $500,000, $1 million, $1 billion. When your standard of living is 30% of the money that's coming in, and the money that's coming in is all interest related to the portfolio that you have, that's retirement right there, baby, because you ain't got to do nothing but wake up every day and deposit money into your bank account if you don't do direct deposit, if you don't do automatic direct deposits. And if you one of them people like me that's going to pay you your monthly bills a season in advance, instead of you hoping that the stock option sells fast enough for you to deposit the money into your bank account so that you have to pay this upcoming bill. The bills today is May. The bills ain't due until July. The money can come in between now and the end of June, and you still be able to pay for everything before the 1st of July. And if you're doing it like that, you're paying for July and August, so that by the time you finish collecting all the money you collecting from May and June, you would have paid off July and August. So that when you get your money from July and August, you be paying off September and October. You never hurting. Then one more thing that you could think about is that since you're able to get these passports and all of this other stuff in order for you to travel and whatnot, if you're making enough money, there's money making money for you, and you start flying to countries that don't tax. We told you guys about building trust. We told you guys about building trust in non-residential tax exempt countries where you don't have to be a citizenship of that country to build a trust there. But if you wire money to that account is not going to be charged taxes. So if that trust pays you money, even if you live in the United States, it's non-taxable income because it didn't come from a profit. And it wasn't entitled to taxation when it was sent to you. So look, now I'm trying to help y'all find ways to make money for y'all. And non-taxable income is not required to be claimed on a tax report. Only taxable income is required to be claimed on a tax report. So once you start dealing with money that don't have to be reported, you stop being required to find ways to spend enough money that's tax deductible so that you don't got to pay taxes. The other thing that I keep telling you guys about is leveraging your portfolio for cash stocks with 167% interest back on any capital investment. You could always take an SBA loan out on something or get a cash loan for something and take that cash and put it into the cash stock and then move it around, because if you're getting over 100% return on whatever money that you borrowed, even if they're charging you 18% interest, doesn't matter if you're getting over 120% back. They give you 50,000, you made 50,000, gave them back 50,000, still got the principal and probably got a little bit more on top, which is leveraging somebody else's money to turn a profit. And then every time you do that, you build reputation with them because you're paying the interest and everything. You're keeping the difference. And it's the cost of doing business. There's a big difference with making a 25% return on an 18% interest rate where you're only making like 6 or 7% of profit versus making 100+% profit off of a trading method, that will allow you to turn 50 grand into 100 grand before you get them back their 50 grand. And then since you gave them back their 50 grand, when you go to borrow from them again, you could do one or two things. You can either borrow 100 grand next time, or you could borrow the 50 grand with less effort because you paid them back the first time, especially if you paid them back early, which also boosts your credit score every time you pay off a massive loan. And it's also a tax deduction. Every time you put profits towards a loan, that's paying off a debt. So it's tax deductible. So all of these things need to be taken into consideration when we start trying to say, well, let me do something different so that I can make money for myself, because I don't want to struggle when I'm old. Back bad, knees bad, ankles bad, tired, exhausted, not the same thing. And then we got to get up and do this shit all over again tomorrow. That should not be our life. We should be rested. We should be waking up at 4 o'clock in the evening because we can't sleep no more. Not because we too tired to get out of bed. You know what I'm saying? So changing the way we do business, this is one of the things that we're going to be working on. Now, what I want you guys to do is make sure that y'all like and subscribe, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about some ways that we can improve our decision making through first person accountability. It is going to be a little bit of a social debate, because depending on, where you're at and who you with, that certain decisions got to be made, and that's the person that the decision is going to be made against is going to feel offended. And I don't really care, because first person accountability, if you're the person fucking up, somebody's got to tell you that you're fucking up, and there is no nice way to tell somebody else that they fucking up, because don't nobody like constructive criticism, even if it will make them feel better. They will prefer for you to lie to them and tell them that they're doing nothing wrong than for you to tell them the truth and tell them that they're ruining their life and negatively impacting yours at the same time, because that is going to make them recognize the depression that they already hold. So instead of them allowing you to tell them the truth, they would prefer that you lie to them. And I don't like to affiliate with those kinds of people. So those people are going to get pissed off what I'm going to say tomorrow, and I don't really care. Everybody else that knows that the situations that they're in, the social atmosphere that they're with, the people that they interact with are not what they would prefer. They're involved in stuff that they wish that they weren't involved in. They're paying for things that they wish wasn't their responsibility. They're caught up for the full hood street and dictionary definition of the word caught up, and they don't want to be caught up no more. Come to the show tomorrow. We're going to be figuring this out about how we can stop getting caught up, because first person accountability, I'm only in a fucked up situation because I allowed myself to be there, regardless of the fact that somebody next to me did something stupid. If I was with them while they were about to do something stupid and I let them do that, now I'm in trouble too. That's my fault. Yeah, they did something stupid, but I let it happen and I stayed there to experience the consequences of their decision. Two things I should not have done. I shouldn't have let it happen, and I shouldn't have stayed to experience the consequences of the situation. Soon as this looks like it's not about to go right, it's time for me to go if I can't put a stop to it. I'm telling you, not one person excuse me, not one person has ever seen an individual that was trying to make sure that their stuff was right get caught up in chaos, gossip, and bullshit. Never. 1% of the population in the United States is wealthy, but you do not have a TMZ or CNN or Fox or ABC News story about every single rich person in this country. Certain celebrities that deliberately make a scene in public are public discussion. Certain people who do things that they ain't got no business doing, and it becomes public attention because of civil action and other such, becomes public. Everybody else that keep their nose clean and keep they self out of other people's business, focusing on their own grind. You got millionaires that are not quite billionaires that don't nobody know exists, because those people only leave the house to make money, and they only hang out away from their country or away from their home, where ain't nobody out there snapping photos of them doing something they ain't got no business doing, because they in a whole nother country doing what they ain't got no business doing. It's not that rich people don't do wrong stuff. They just don't do wrong stuff right there in front of their house, like P. Diddy. See what happened to him 31 plus years? He should have bought a private island and did that on a private island in international waters where you would have needed a whole lot more than a couple of disappointed people who didn't make it into the red room to testify in court. See what I'm saying? There's a whole nother dynamic. But be that as it may, make sure that you guys remember that every night of the week we are here live. We typically try to give you at least an hour, if not 2 or 3 or 5, and you guys need to slide back through. So make sure that y'all find a notification button. We've got a show coming up because we're going to be talking. They're going to be Trump is trying to do away with habeas corpus, and we're going to be talking about that on Monday. So make sure that you like the Monday show because that's already scheduled to be released. And we do still have Sarah coming to the show right after she finishes with the issue with her kids. So that show is still pending as well on the channel. Make sure that you hit the notification for that one when that one goes live. You definitely want to be here because Sarah's going to be giving guys relationship advice from a woman's perspective. I am not at all going to take shots at this woman. She's going to give you guys some advice, and I am going to withhold any objective statements about any of her advice. We're just gonna, you guys are gonna play a tune, and y'all got some questions y'all want to ask her. All the questions that y'all ask her that's reasonably appropriate is gonna be asked, and she's gonna provide you guys with the answers. So make sure that y'all hang out and come to the show and enjoy it. I'm going to leave y'all with, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. I want to give a special shout out to Usman Bayside, Mr. Satellite, Mr. Pibbs, Reese Martinez, Max the Poser, his father, Joe, Red Void, Omni 81, Danny Steffen, and Joseph Hernandez, to Lena from Ukraine. Special shout out to her as well. I really appreciate you guys for showing us a lot of support on the show. That's all I got for you guys for tonight. I want to thank y'all for coming to This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Any comments that are put into the comments section during the outro of the show while we're listening to Higher Ground, special shout out to alanito.music in Switzerland and the promoter Danny in Denmark. Any comments will be posted up onto the screen, so you'll see them right here if any comments come up during the outro. I want to thank you guys again, and definitely make sure, especially you guys on Twitter. I see y'all. Twitter X, y'all bring it back tomorrow now, and find a way to get in here and come be interactive. Ask you some questions and stuff. Because if there's some stocks, like we talked about Netflix like last week or whatever, there's some stocks that y'all want to talk about. If I didn't talk about something that y'all was interested in, talk to me. Y'all might put me on something I didn't know. I don't know everything about everything, but I know enough to get by. And whatever I don't know about, I'll do research on it. I definitely will come back to you with a thesis paper to help you understand whatever it is that you're trying to figure out. Because on This and That, we're trying to better the ability for men to be better men. And the only way we can do that is through mentorship, apprenticeship, and common knowledge actually being shared to everybody else for free. Now, I'd love for you guys to subscribe to my membership, but the ability to gain knowledge from me comes at no cost to you. You just invest in a podcast so that I can afford to pay for the podcast. That has nothing to do with your ability to get the knowledge. That's your appreciation for the knowledge that you gain. Unlike some seminars where they will withhold the knowledge under the expectation that you got to join this, do the weekend retreat, and then jump onto some membership crap before they tell you one thing of relevance. I'm going to give you something of relevance every night of the week, whether you give me something or not. But if you give me something, I greatly appreciate it. Just note that YouTube takes half of it. It is still a business. So one more time, thank you guys very much. And I'm going to see y'all tomorrow night.
Higher ground! personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.